Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when you realize that average will no longer satisfy your soul. A moment when you look in the mirror and see the person you could become, not the one you've settled for. That's the moment when you stop making excuses. That's the moment when you stop looking for shortcuts. That's the moment when you become obsessed with your growth, obsessed with your vision, obsessed with winning the life you know you're capable of living. You see, success doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the relentless, those who wake up every single day with fire in their eyes and refuse to settle. The people who say, I will find a way or I will make one. That's what this journey is all about. No excuses, no shortcuts, just obsession. If you want to change your life, start by owning every single part of it. Stop blaming your past, your parents, your boss, or your circumstances. The moment you take full responsibility, you take full control. Excuses may comfort you temporarily, but they steal your future permanently. Growth begins the second you say, it's all on me. When you take ownership, you reclaim your power. You stop reacting and start creating. There are no shortcuts to greatness. Every champion has scars, setbacks, and sleepless nights. Success doesn't come from the big moments. It's built in the small, invisible acts of consistency. The grind is where you forge your strength. When you're obsessed, you don't complain about the work. You crave it because you know that every drop of sweat is buying your freedom. The world will test you. It will throw pain, rejection, and doubt in your face. But obsession transforms pain into fuel. It takes what was meant to break you and turns it into energy that builds you. Every setback becomes a stepping stone. Every failure becomes feedback. When you stop running from pain and start learning from it, nothing can stop you. What you feed your mind determines your destiny. You can't expect a powerful life from a weak mindset. Read, learn, and grow every single day. Fill your head with ideas that challenge you, stories that inspire you, and truths that strengthen you. Obsession means you never stop sharpening your blade. You condition your mind to stay strong when everything around you screams. Jev up. Energy is contagious. Surround yourself with people who push you, challenge you, and force you to rise higher. Stay away from those who drain your drive or doubt your dreams. Your environment shapes your destiny. The obsessed understand that proximity is power. They stay close to people who remind them of their potential, not their limitations. The moment you think you've made it, you're done. True obsession is endless. It's not about reaching one goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who never stops growing. Every victory is just a reminder that you're capable of more. The obsessed don't chase comfort. They chase challenge because they know comfort kills progress, but hunger creates greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, your future doesn't belong to the excuse maker or the shortcut taker. It belongs to the one who shows up every day with unstoppable energy, unshakable belief, and unwavering discipline. So from this moment on, make a decision. No more excuses, no more shortcuts, just pure, relentless, unstoppable obsession. That's how you change your life. That's how you become unstoppable. That's how you win. Owning every result in your life means stepping into the truth that you are the creator, not the victim of your reality. It's about understanding that everything you experience, successes, failures, progress, or setbacks, is ultimately a reflection of your decisions, your mindset, and your actions. Most people spend their lives blaming something outside of themselves, the economy, their boss, their upbringing, or bad luck. But as long as you live in that space, you give away your power. The moment you say, this is my life, and everything in it is my responsibility, you take that power back. That moment becomes the turning point between living reactively and living intentionally. Taking ownership is not about guilt or blame. It's about empowerment. It's about realizing that if you created the mess, you can also create the miracle. When you own your results, you stop making excuses for where you are and start making moves toward where you want to go. It means you no longer say, I can't, or I don't have time, or it's not fair. Those phrases keep you trapped. They build walls around your potential. Instead, you begin asking better questions. What can I do differently? How can I improve this? What lesson am I missing here? This shift changes everything because your mind is now wired to look for solutions instead of problems. You start living with purpose and clarity instead of confusion and blame. Most people never achieve what they want because they keep waiting for external change, a new boss, a new relationship, a better economy. But those who truly own their life know that real change begins internally. When you change your thoughts, your actions, and your habits, your world follows suit. Ownership also demands honesty. It's easy to say you want something, but if you're not willing to do what it takes to achieve it, then you don't truly want it. When you own your results, you're brutally honest with yourself about your effort, your consistency, and your choices. You stop sugarcoating your failures and start studying them. You learn from your mistakes instead of hiding from them. You take feedback even when it stings because you care more about your growth than your ego. This is the mindset of champions. They don't waste time defending their excuses. They spend that time improving their results. Owning every result also means releasing the illusion of control over others. You can't control how people treat you, but you can control how you respond. You can't control every outcome, but you can control the intensity of your effort and the clarity of your vision. Responsibility is not about perfection. It's about consistency. When you stop expecting life to be easy and start accepting that it's your job to rise to every challenge, you grow beyond what you thought was possible. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to prove your strength. Every disappointment becomes a test of your resilience. Ownership is freedom, because when you realize that everything in your life is within your influence, you stop waiting, you start creating. The truth is, people who take ownership live differently. They wake up each morning with a sense of purpose because they know they are in charge of how the day goes. They don't complain about circumstances. They create momentum. They don't wait for motivation. They generate it. When they fail, they don't hide behind excuses. They face it, learn, and move forward stronger. This attitude builds confidence because you start to trust yourself. You know that no matter what life throws at you, you can handle it. And that self-trust becomes the foundation of your success. Taking ownership of your results is not a one-time decision. It's a lifestyle. It's the daily commitment to rise above excuses, to take action even when it's hard, and to hold yourself to a higher standard than anyone else ever will. Embracing the grind and falling in love with the process means shifting your focus from the outcome to the journey itself. It's about understanding that real success is not born in moments of glory, but in the quiet, repetitive, unseen work that most people will never applaud. The grind is not glamorous, waking up before the sun, staying late after everyone else leaves, doing the small things with discipline when no one is watching. It's fighting through fatigue, boredom, and doubt while keeping your vision alive. Most people want the reward, but few are willing to love the road that leads to it. Those who do, those who truly embrace the grind, build a strength that nothing can break because they know that every repetition, every sacrifice, every drop of sweat is a step toward mastery. The process is where greatness is shaped. Every champion has spent countless hours working when it didn't feel exciting. There are no shortcuts to excellence. There's only repetition and refinement. The grind is the gym where your character is trained. It's the field where your habits are tested. It's the workshop where your potential is forged into performance. When you learn to fall in love with that grind, you stop resenting hard work. You start seeing it as a privilege, not a punishment. You realize that the struggle isn't something to escape. It's something to embrace because it's transforming you to someone stronger, sharper, and more capable. The grind doesn't just build skills, it builds identity. It teaches patience, persistence, and humility, the very traits that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. Most people quit not because they lack talent, but because they lack patience. They expect instant results in a world that rewards consistency. But the process doesn't care about your timeline. It rewards those who refuse to give up. Falling in love with the process means showing up on the days when motivation is gone. It means staying disciplined when progress feels invisible. It means trusting that the small, consistent actions you take today are building the foundation for your breakthrough tomorrow. Growth is rarely dramatic. It's gradual, silent, and often uncomfortable. But when you understand that the grind is your teacher, not your enemy, you stop chasing shortcuts and start chasing mastery. To embrace the grind is also to build resilience. Every obstacle becomes part of your training. Every delay becomes a test of your determination. When things get tough, you don't complain, you adapt. You don't retreat, you refocus. You don't wish for it to be easier, you wish to become better. The process refines your mindset until quitting is no longer an option. You stop asking, how long will it take? And start saying, as long as it takes. That shift is where transformation begins. The process doesn't just shape your results, it reshapes your relationship with struggle. You stop fearing failure because you know that every failure brings you closer to success. You stop comparing yourself to others because your only competition is the person you were yesterday. Falling in love with the process also means finding joy in the work itself. When you focus solely on the destination, you rob yourself of the beauty of the journey. Every practice session, every early morning, every setback has meaning when it's part of your growth. The process teaches gratitude for progress. No matter how small, it teaches you to celebrate effort, not just achievement. You begin to find fulfillment not just in winning, but in knowing you gave everything you had along the way. That's what true commitment looks like. Doing your best even when no one is clapping, pushing forward even when the results haven't shown up yet. Those who embrace the grind understand that success is not a single event, it's a lifestyle. It's built one decision, one sacrifice, one disciplined action at a time. It's not about how fast you get there. It's about how deeply you grow while getting there. The process might be slow, but it's never wasted. Every step conditions your mind, strengthens your will, and prepares you for the weight of the success you're chasing. When you learn to love that process, when you no longer see it as something to endure, but something to honor, you become unstoppable. Because then your commitment isn't tied to results. It's tied to who you're becoming. Turning your pain into your power means refusing to let your struggles define you and instead using them to strengthen, awaken, and drive you. Pain is inevitable in life. Everyone faces loss, failure, rejection, or disappointment. But what separates the weak from the unstoppable is what they choose to do with that pain. Most people run from it, numb it, or let it control them. But the strongest people, the ones who rise from nothing, are those who take that pain and convert it into purpose. They understand that pain is not punishment, It's preparation. Every painful experience carries a lesson, and within that lesson lies the seed of transformation. When you stop asking, why has this happened to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Your entire perspective shifts. Pain becomes the fuel that propels you forward rather than the weight that holds you back. Every struggle you face has the potential to give you something greater than it takes away. Pain forces growth. It strips away comfort, destroys illusions, and reveals your true strength. When everything falls apart, you are left with a choice to stay broken or to rebuild stronger. Those who turn pain into power choose to rebuild. They use heartbreak to deepen their empathy, failure to sharpen their strategy, rejection to fuel their ambition. Pain can harden you or it can shape you. The difference lies in your mindset. When you embrace pain instead of resisting it, it becomes your greatest teacher. It shows you who you really are when everything easy is gone. It exposes your limits and gives you the chance to break through them. The truth is, pain is a part of every breakthrough. Every great story has a chapter of struggle. The person who lost everything before finding success, the athlete who trained through injury, the entrepreneur who faced countless failures, each of them discovered that pain was not an obstacle but a tool. When you learn to channel that emotional energy, when you refuse to let suffering go to waste, pain transforms into power. It gives you hunger, depth, and compassion. It builds your resilience and reminds you that you've survived worse before. Once you understand that pain is temporary, but the strength it gives you is permanent, you stop running from it. You start using it as a weapon to cut through fear, doubt, and weakness. Pain also awakens clarity. It burns away the distractions that kept you stuck. When you're hurt, you start to see what truly matters. You stop caring about approval, validation, or comfort, and start focusing on purpose. Pain forces you to dig deeper, to find meaning in the chaos. Many people discover their calling through their greatest pain. The person who was bullied becomes the one who empowers others. The person who faced poverty becomes the one who teaches others how to rise. The wound that once made you feel powerless becomes the source of your strength. That's the magic of turning pain into power. It transforms the very thing that tried to destroy you into the force that defines you. But turning pain into power doesn't happen automatically. It requires a decision to stop being a victim of your past and become the author of your future. You can't control what happened to you, but you can control what you do with it. You can either use it as an excuse to stay stuck or as a reason to rise. Power comes when you take responsibility for your healing, when you decide that your pain will no longer be your prison, but your purpose. It's in those moments when you choose to move forward, even when it hurts, that you begin to reclaim your strength. Pain is not the end of your story. It's the fire that forges you. The deeper you've been broken, the greater your capacity to grow, to love, to impact, and to inspire. When you own your pain, it no longer owns you, and that's when true power begins. Feeding your mind relentlessly means understanding that your thoughts are the foundation of your destiny. Just like your body cannot thrive without proper nourishment, your mind cannot grow without consistent input of powerful, positive, and purposeful information. What you feed your mind every single day shapes your beliefs, your emotions, and ultimately your actions. Most people are careful about what they eat, but careless about what they think. They consume negativity, fear, and doubt through media, conversations, and self-talk, and then wonder why they feel stuck or powerless. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant weeds of limitation, you'll harvest excuses. If you plant seeds of growth, knowledge, and confidence, you'll harvest success. Feeding your mind relentlessly is not a one-time effort. It's a daily commitment to filling your inner world with thoughts that empower you instead of those that drain you. Every great achiever understands that success starts in the mind long before it appears in reality. They make it a ritual to read, learn, and listen to ideas that expand their perspective. The mind is a muscle. It grows through challenge and repetition. When you feed it with books, podcasts, mentors, and experiences that stretch your thinking, you begin to rewire your mental patterns. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding intelligently. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. The more you feed your mind with knowledge, the more prepared you become to handle adversity. Growth requires new information, and new information comes only to the hungry. Those who stop learning start declining. Feeding your mind relentlessly means never being satisfied with what you already know, because you understand that the world is constantly evolving, and so must you. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. Every belief you hold either builds you or breaks you. When you feed your mind with empowering ideas, you create a filter that blocks out negativity. You start developing mental discipline, the ability to focus on what matters and ignore what doesn't. You no longer allow fear or doubt to dominate your thinking because you've trained your mind to recognize and replace them with strength and certainty. This is how leaders, innovators, and champions think. They protect their mental environment like it's sacred because they know that their results are a reflection of what they repeatedly tell themselves. You can't expect to think small and live big. You can't expect to feed your mind with junk and produce excellence. What you think, you become. Feeding your mind relentlessly also means surrounding yourself with people who challenge your perspective. The energy and ideas of the people around you seep into your subconscious. If you spend time with complainers, you'll adopt their limits. If you spend time with visionaries, you'll adopt their possibilities. Growth is contagious when you're in the right environment. Choose to be around those who stretch you, who make you uncomfortable in a way that forces evolution. Seek out mentors not for motivation alone, but for wisdom. Learn from those who have walked the path you're trying to master. Every conversation with the right person has the power to shift your thinking and expand your potential. But most importantly, feeding your mind relentlessly requires self-awareness. You must become the guardian of your thoughts. You must constantly observe what you're consuming and ask, is this feeding my growth or my fear? The mind will always drift toward what you give attention to. If you focus on problems, they'll multiply. If you focus on solutions, they'll expand. Training your mind is a lifelong practice. Meditation, reflection, journaling, and gratitude are all ways to keep your mental state sharp and strong. You have to feed your mind with intention, because if you don't, the world will feed it for you. And most of what the world offers is fear, distraction, and limitation. To stay unstoppable, you must choose your mental diet with the same precision as an athlete chooses their training. Your outer success will always be a mirror of your inner world, and that world is built by what you feed your mind every single day. Surrounding yourself with fire means surrounding yourself with people who ignite your spirit, elevate your standards, and push you to become your best self. The people you spend time with shape your mindset, influence your habits, and ultimately determine your future. Energy is contagious, whether positive or negative, and most people underestimate the power of their environment. You can have big dreams, but if you're surrounded by people who doubt, complain, and settle, that energy will slowly suffocate your drive. Fire represents passion, hunger, and purpose. When you surround yourself with individuals who burn with ambition and belief, their energy ignites yours. They challenge you, not because they want to compete with you, but because they see the potential that you sometimes forget you have. Being around fire keeps your inner flame alive when life tries to dim it. Every great achiever in history had a circle that fueled their greatness. No one climbs to the top alone. Behind every success story is a team, a mentor, a friend, or a coach who believed, encouraged, and sometimes demanded more than the person thought they could give. That's what fire does. It doesn't let you stay comfortable. It doesn't let you make excuses. It reminds you of the standard you set for yourself. When you surround yourself with fire, you're constantly in the presence of accountability and excellence. You start to think bigger, act faster, and push harder because the energy around you doesn't allow mediocrity. You begin to mirror the mindset and habits of those who inspire you, and over time, their fire becomes your own. The people around you either add fuel to your vision or drain it. If you're surrounded by negativity, you'll start doubting your potential. If you're surrounded by dreamers, doers, and believers, you'll start living with confidence and purpose. That's why protecting your circle is one of the most important decisions you can ever make. It's not about arrogance, it's about alignment. You have to choose people who align with your values, your goals, and your energy. When your circle is filled with fire, you begin to hold yourself to a higher standard because you no longer want to be the weakest link. You grow because you're forced to rise to the level of those around you. Greatness becomes normal when you live among great people. Fire also burns away weakness. When you're in a group of high achievers, excuses sound foolish. Complaints sound like noise. You start to realize that growth only happens when you're uncomfortable, and being around people who are constantly evolving keeps you from getting complacent. The conversations shift from gossip to goals, from problems to possibilities. Every interaction becomes a source of inspiration and education. You don't need people who tell you what you want to hear. You need people who tell you what you need to hear. Those are the ones who will challenge your limits, hold you accountable, and remind you of your greatness when you forget. That's what surrounding yourself with fire truly means, staying close to those who won't let your flame go out. The truth is your environment will either build your future or bury it. You can't expect to grow in an environment that encourages comfort. Growth demands heat. Fire is uncomfortable. It burns. It transforms. And it forges strength. That's what the right people do for you. They push you to face your fears. They demand your best. And they remind you of the vision you promised yourself. You need people who speak life into your dreams, who don't just believe in you when it's easy, but when it's hard. They see the greatness in you even when you can't. Surrounding yourself with fire is not just about friendship. It's about elevation. It's about building a tribe that holds you to your highest potential and refuses to let you play small. When your environment is full of fire, you can't help but rise, because every spark around you becomes a reflection of the one within you. Staying hungry and staying unstoppable means never allowing success to make you complacent and never letting failure make you quit. Hunger is the inner fire that drives you to keep growing, learning, and striving for more. Even after you've achieved something great, it's that unshakable desire to push past comfort zones and continue chasing new levels of potential. The moment you lose hunger, you begin to decline, because hunger is what keeps you alive inside. It keeps you moving when others stop. Being unstoppable is not about being perfect or never failing. It's about refusing to stay down when you fall. It's about getting up every single time life knocks you to your knees and saying, is that all you've got? Hunger fuels resilience, and resilience fuels power. Together, they make you a force that nothing can contain. Hunger is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's easy to want something, but hunger makes you chase it. It makes you wake up early, stay late, and do what others won't. Hungry people are never satisfied, not because they're ungrateful, but because they know they're capable of more. They see success not as a destination, but as a responsibility to grow, to improve, and to give their best every single day. Hunger creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. When you're hungry, you don't wait for opportunity. You create it. You stop asking for permission and start building your own path. You stop settling for good enough and demand excellence from yourself, because deep down you know that greatness lives just beyond your comfort zone. Staying unstoppable requires mastering your mindset. Challenges, rejection, and setbacks are inevitable, but unstoppable people see them differently. They see obstacles as training, failures as lessons, and pain as fuel. They don't crumble when life gets hard. They rise higher. They don't waste time complaining or doubting. They focus on adapting, improving, and attacking again. Being unstoppable is a decision you make every day. It's the decision to keep going even when the odds are stacked against you. It's the decision to believe in your potential even when no one else does. It's the decision to trust that consistency will always beat talent when talent stops showing up. The unstoppable mindset isn't built in moments of victory. It's built in moments of struggle, when everything inside you wants to quit, but you choose to continue anyway. To stay hungry, you must never lose sight of your why. Your why is the reason behind your effort. The emotional fire that keeps you moving when motivation fades. When you know why you're doing something, you'll find the strength to endure anyhow. Hunger is sustained by purpose. Without purpose, even the most talented people lose direction. With it, even the most ordinary can achieve the extraordinary. Hunger keeps your purpose alive. It reminds you that there's always another level, another goal, another breakthrough waiting. The people who achieve greatness are not necessarily the most gifted. They are the most driven. They are obsessed with becoming better than they were yesterday. And that obsession is what keeps them unstoppable. The world often rewards comfort, but comfort kills growth. To stay hungry, you must be willing to live in the tension between where you are and where you want to be. You have to embrace the discomfort of progress and understand that satisfaction is the enemy of expansion. Every day is another chance to evolve, and every challenge is another opportunity to sharpen your edge. Unstoppable people live with a sense of urgency. They act now, they move fast, and they keep pushing because they know time doesn't wait for anyone. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. They wake up every day with the mindset that their best is yet to come. Staying hungry means chasing improvement relentlessly, and staying unstoppable means refusing to quit no matter what stands in your way. When you live with that kind of hunger and that kind of determination, nothing, no failure, no fear, no obstacle can stop you from becoming everything you were meant to be.